Good evening. We are Boomer Rex tonight.
I'm not.
Let me
She's going to screw that up someday, and we're just going to give her no ration of shit, no end of a ration of shit.
That's why I write it down. Let me introduce Mr.
Okay, you could
Boomer
get a
Rex
ration of shit
himself.
for writing it down.
Well, not from you.
And asshole.
Lunatic.
And I am RisenLadyHeathen. Let's dig right in.
I have seen you produce 4 pages of maps for a thing the next state over. Where I could fit all of the driving instructions on a napkin. Now, granted, I'm not good at planning. I think it might cause diseases.
Yeah.
So I just avoid it. But
Well, again, I feel better about that when we've got an extra 250 miles of range
sure.
attached to the rear bumper.
Yeah.
So,
Nope. I just walk through the world trusting in my Irishness.
yeah.
Also,
We've
if you
seen
drop
how
things,
well that works.
if you drop something, drop another thing about the same size, and that'll show you where it went.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So,
You have to understand the internet. That's a story because one night we were doing something on the well house, and I dropped a drill bit into pine needles. Like, it's gone. Like, I watched
you talk
it
about
fall.
a needle in a haystack.
Yeah. So anyway, he comes back with another one, hands it to me, and I've told him this thing, this funny joke noise I make sometimes, and he hands it to me, and then looks at me like, So I drop it.
You couldn't find that one either.
They both gone.
Good job.
The universe needed 2 drill bits right there. I don't know why. I don't ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. You know
So-
what? There's the entrance, right, to some sort of a space-time tunnel.
Right?
And we didn't look
Yeah.
for that.
Doctor Who needed some drill bits.
Yeah.
I got Doctor Who's back. I don't know why. Again, I don't need to know.
All right.
So, what's going on with Republicans' move to bribes to keep people away from vaccines? What?
Oh, fucking God.
I just...
No, wait. At some level, shit, damn it. I have an idea. Tomorrow, somebody get Michael Moore. We're dressing up the whole left agenda as a bunch of, like, screw the liberals shit. And they'll fucking
pass
fund
every
it.
bit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because tell the story, because she's going to make a noise.
Here are people who care absolutely nothing about America.
Right.
Whose sole goal is to interfere with the recovery
It should
and
just
make
be
Biden
goddamn
look bad.
disagreeable. And that's
No,
kind of
this
my
is
shtick, and they
intended-
do it rudely.
This is intended to make Biden
Yep.
look bad and delay the recovery.
Right.
So a number of states, Florida, Iowa, Kansas,
While shouting about
Tennessee,
wanting to get back to normal.
have changed their
Yeah.
unemployment insurance to pay you if you are fired because you didn't get a vaccine.
Because it's some owns the lib shit.
That's
See,
not
right
how
there.
this
I
works.
love watching
Yeah, it is
who's
how it
hoping the
works
future
in Florida,
die.
Iowa, Kansas, and Tennessee.
No, that's
It's
some
like fucking usual
bullshit.
suspects. It's exactly. You knew.
So if I were really cruel, I would point out that it's the maggots that aren't getting their vaccines, and some fraction of them will die.
They're not going to need them.
So if I go back to Florida, I can go
Stick it
on.
to the man.
I can go on.
No, you've had a vaccine.
Right, but they can't prove that I got a
Oh, that's
vaccine.
And they-
If I throw my card into the fire pit one evening.
I have a feeling like well, that's a federal program. They can bring up your number. But anyway,
I think they can.
I'm kind of going to be annoyed
I'm
if they
just-
didn't.
Yeah.
Just because, why did you hand the card? Like, it was dumb not to make the cards wallet sized. Sure, whatever. But if we're going to make cards,
Your card isn't, I guess it's too wide.
yeah.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
Well,
Still, I
I'll
can
get
put
it
it in my-
laminated
yeah.
and a hole punched, and I can wear it on
Right,
like
there
a
you go.
bag.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to, obviously.
Apparently.
Because it's just like the Nazis somehow. I love it, the people whose entire understanding of Nazi Germany could fit on a fucking piece of Bazooka Joe gum
Yep.
have all this profound shit to say about their right to body autonomy. Like,
Yeah.
who the fuck are you?
No,
Where
no, no,
have
no,
you
no,
been?
no, no, no,
Until
no,
it
no,
comes to abortion.
Stop,
in
stop,
this case.
stop. No, exactly.
No right
no,
to
no, no, no.
bodily autonomy.
They have every right to body autonomy until it comes to do with my uterus, and
Right.
then it's suddenly a big problem.
Ah,
I'm not allowed to have bodily autonomy, but they can do whatever they want with their bodies.
There's the baby's body autonomy.
Anyway.
Especially if that baby doesn't want to get vaccinated.
No, and this is
Oh, Jesus.
That's right. They should be suing to ban women from getting vaccinated because it would be transferred to
Pregnant
the baby.
women, yeah.
And baby
Pregnant
can't.
women.
I saw
Oh,
one of them.
Jesus.
Holy, no, shut up. So earlier today, one of the anti-vaxxers was babbling on about how children 5 to 12 can't give consent. Oh, motherfucker, that's not the age of consent anywhere good. What'd you just say? So a 13-year-old can give consent. Why?
I don't think so.
No, not. But
Not in
that's-
most states.
I know,
anyway.
but it was just really like it showed up in a couple of the anti-vaxxer babbles.
Again,
What I
you
don't
have to
understand.
understand. You're talking about people so stupid. They don't understand what the age of consent and the word consent
I was going to say-
mean.
They know. They don't care.
No, they don't know.
I
You can't fuck up that bad and know, because you know you sound you know you were sounding stupid.
every libertarian would get behind that because shit, I used to know the guy's name. A libertarian thinker is what turned it from like do all the drugs you want to hey, we should be able to fuck kids, which is what current libertarianism is. You cannot get far into that ideology without running into people going, we need to talk about the uncomfortable thing about the age of consent. And I don't think we do. I think you want to because of
well,
gross
for whatever
reasons.
reason. Yeah.
No,
Because
just
you've got
It's
some
like if
issues.
somebody tells you you're going to fucking Bangkok.
You kind of know why.
Yeah.
You're gonna fuck a ladyboy and drink Cobra whiskey.
I interrupted you. What
Tell
were
me if
you-
it's good. The
When did you interrupt me?
Oh, okay.
The
So
Cobra
you forgot.
whiskey.
No problem.
I don't remember. Well, I'll
We
have
were
to go listen
talking
to
about
it.
the age of consent.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, the age
like,
of
comment,
consent
and
is where
subscribe
it
for
should
more
be.
babbling about fucking what was I on about? Cobra whiskey and
This is what happens, folks. We go off on tangents. Oh,
man,
my
I got a lot of
goodness.
coffee in me.
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah, we shouldn't have cranked him up.
Yeah.
No, because they're dying. It's just everywhere I looked today was like fucking electric fence, goddamn symposium.
Well, then you've got
Worth of
everybody
stupid.
saying
Is he still running?
What the fuck are you talking about?
The fucking idiot, Mike Lindell. Is his thing still going?
Nah, that shit's over.
no, it
Oh,
ended.
thank God.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He spent the entire time talking about Salem Media and how he had pulled his ads from them, and they were all calling him, telling him how cool he was, and they all really wanted him to advertise. And
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
so Salem Media basically said, "Oh yeah, no, I know what he was talking about. Hey, he's allowed to pull his advertising. That's up to him. I don't know of anyone calling him, talking to him, but
I don't think anyone cares.
no,
Well, and then they were asked if they would be interested in getting his advertising
Oh, I didn't
dollars
see
back,
that.
and they said no.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
He says crazy shit and gets you sued.
So anyway, yeah. No, this is just so Republican,
Yeah.
right? And there's a reason we use the word scum of the earth. They're
Yep.
going to have people die to make them look good.
No, they're always
The
willing
problem-
to cut
the problem
your nose off
is
to spite someone
the-
else's face.
Right. The problem is that COVID is not killing enough people. For
That's a
it
good thing.
to-
That's not a.
for it to make
Yes.
a real whatever, right?
It's
So
not,
it's not gonna
hurricanes
make-
don't scare Americans.
It's not going to make a big enough impact for them to feel bad, right? About whatever, because yeah, they're going to lose a bunch of people, but like not like
Yep.
in the grand scheme of things, right? In the grand scheme of things, they're losing nothing. So, and they don't care. They don't need people. They just need to redraw their district lines so that they're going to win. So it
If
doesn't
it's not-
matter. I mean,
and
we know
Democrats-
for a fact that most of America is Democratic.
Yep.
This is just a fact. People, when you're talking about people,
When things are actively on fire, you can get about 51. So yeah, sure. Fine, but
So
no,
anyway,
the independents are some idiot chunk in the middle of embarrassed Republicans, and the moderate Democrats are, I don't fucking know what they're on about, other than usually they'll tell you the standard, I'm socially liberal but fiscally conservative, which means I've never taken an economics course.
right. Well, and it also means that they just want to keep the money rolling in from the rich folks.
Yeah.
Because they're in the trough.
Yeah, fine, but the ones I'm talking about who will spout
Yeah.
the nonsense aren't. They're poor, and will tell you why taxes are stifling innovation. Like, I've seen smart ones talking about how our government investment will crowd out, and like, okay, cool, that's an interesting argument. Oh shit, look, we've looked. That's not what
Didn't
happens.
happen. Yep.
All right, so let's move on. What's going on with Alabama Amazon workers getting a do-over vote for the union?
Oh,
I thought that broke.
my
What happened?
God. For the first time in 20-something years, the National Labor Relations Board has actually done something.
Oh my god.
There will be another union election at the Amazon plant.
What happened to the first one?
America happened.
The NLRB says the first one was poisoned by Amazon putting a postal collection box at the main entrance, giving the impression that it was the company that was doing it rather than, and this subverted the election.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, turns out
Well,
Amazon
I
also
think-
hired all of the mercenaries that do exactly the union busting this is.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and worse than that, they worked a deal with the post office. They were not due to get that. They had to work at it, and it had to be rushed and
Yes.
everything else. So it's very obvious that that was the intent.
This
So
is
anyway,
Buttigieg's
so-
problem.
NLRB said, do another election.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good luck.
because
As I said, first time in 20 years
Don't
they've done
fuck
anything.
it up, Alabamians.
because the problem is that if they think that Amazon's gonna have this information
you're
about them,
Mm-hmm.
that oh shit, they're gonna fire me if this doesn't go through.
Mm-hmm.
So
They're
yeah,
gonna fire
that'll
me if this does
aggressively
go through.
poison the
Yeah.
waters.
Yeah, a little bit. So anyhow, it's great. I'm so impressed with the NLRB for the first
Well, we'll
time
see
in
if it
ever.
goes right this time.
Good job.
but-
Yep.
X days since fucking up.
Right.
One. So
Well, then we'll see how quickly Amazon goes to some court to say they don't want to do that.
yeah.
So anyway,
So solar growth alternatives. You got some information on that.
yeah, this one is kind of interesting.
Nah, sing a little song.
The idea is that you have areas like apartment complexes and so forth where individuals can't have a solar system. There's no place to put it.
Yeah.
And they won't let you hang it out the window typically.
And one you could hang out the window isn't going to be doing you much.
It isn't going to do much. So anyway, the idea is to find a large roof or open area nearby, build a much larger solar system, and then the folks in the apartments can subscribe.
Oh, nice.
And so the idea is that they support some fraction of the array, right? I assume it's sort of sold in panels, right? And then they get kits that go against their electric bill. So they used a specific example of a couple that I assume they own one panel, and it saves them about $98 a year on their electric bill.
Nice.
So anyway, an excellent idea.
Yeah.
I can see all kinds of potential problems, but there are also things that could be fixed.
Right.
And then the interesting thing is that right now, these, community solar systems have about 3.4 gigawatts of generation power.
Nice.
And that's enough for, 650,000 homes or so,
Whoa.
right?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3% of the nation's power.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know that when
I'm sorry, 3% of the nation's solar output. Okay,
there.
so not quite as good as I thought it was. But there are 4.3 more gigawatts that will go online in the next 5 years.
Oh, cool.
So they'll be up to around 10% of. And it's interesting, in Florida, they tend to be bigger, I assume, because if you move away from the center of town, land is cheaper or something. But anyway, it's an interesting idea. And we'll come back to solar, because again, solar is if you look at doomsday, right? The gasoline, it'll be gone in 6 weeks and there will never be any more.
Right.
Every other way that you can think to power things will be gone. right? Unless you want to build a boiler,
Right.
but you also need time to do that.
Could have built a gasifier.
Yeah. Yeah, you could, and run a truck off it.
And die, just like all the other idiots that do.
Yeah, I know. Can you just? But anyway, solar panel lasts 25 to 30 years. And if you're careful about where you buy it, you can push that to 50 years for a panel. And so one interesting idea is don't get involved with the grid. Build your solar system, right? And power 1 or 2 rooms of your house completely separate from the grid. Just take the rooms off the grid.
Right.
And power it with solar.
Right.
And then as you understand what the system can do for you and so forth, add or subtract, right, the heavy hitters. So, if we were looking at doing that, I'd be saying, first and foremost, the refrigerator goes on it, right?
The freezer in the garage, yeah.
And the freezer in the garage goes on it. And then if you can do it, the air conditioning system.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the nice thing about that is the solar's there when you really want the AC. So, but again, you just move stuff in and, on and off that bus. And then when the doomsday comes, you have a system which you can now reconfigure, right? Because you won't need as much refrigeration because there's not going to be that much cold food.
That's true. Kind of sort of at that point, all you really need, we discussed this last time, is a deep freezer. Yeah.
Yeah. You can use it to recharge simple electric bicycles, automobiles, that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, sorry, we got off the topic. But that's a cute way to implement solar.
Yeah.
In places where you would have said there's no solar opportunity.
Well, and you said they're
Right.
taking old factories and stuff that aren't being used
Rooftops.
and big rooftop buildings
Yep.
and just putting.
In a couple of places, farmers are, just turning over some land. And at least one of them is saying, the profit from the rental on the solar farm, right, that they rent that space is much bigger than he would have made planting it with corn. So, an interesting idea.
Good.
So,
Well, and a lot less work. You don't have to do anything.
well, yeah, he mentioned that as well. So,
So I got an interesting story, and I think we can get into that now. So Kansas state legislator is in hot water. Did you guys hear about this? 21-year-old Aaron Coleman.
oh God.
He was arrested on a DUI charge while out on bond for a
Yeah.
family domestic dispute.
Oh yeah.
So on October 30th, Aaron was arrested for domestic battery. It's alleged that he spat on and hit and pushed his brother, then threatened to attack his grandfather. He pled not guilty and was released on bail, or on bond. Is that the same thing?
Bail, you put up a fraction of the money and somebody else puts up the rest.
And they keep your fraction.
And they keep your fraction.
Okay.
Or some part.
That's the cost of not being in jail.
Right.
Okay, so
And poor.
he was released on bond. So 4 weeks later, he gets pulled over for suspected drunk driving at 1 a.m., arrested, and then released on another $250 bond later in the day. He was also known to bully. In middle school, he engaged in online bullying, blackmail, and revenge porn in middle school.
Done.
He admitted this while running, and even
the first thing.
no, let me finish. And even apologized to several girls that he had targeted, claiming his actions were that of a sick and troubled 14-year-old.
True fucking story.
I would argue that at 21, he seems to be continuing the sick and troubled theme.
Exactly.
So
No
we
word
should
would
at
end up-
some point admit that this clown is a Democrat and he should resign immediately. And if he doesn't,
So that's what
they should expel him.
I'm getting into this. So 13 Democrats filed a complaint back in January to remove Coleman from office over his history of abuse. A House committee, after determining that the allegations were true and deemed his conduct unfitting for a lawmaker, issued a written warning. Last month, Coleman was accused of berating a police officer and was banned from state labor department property. Banned. His latest arrest has drawn scorn and calls for his resignation from his fellow legislators. Governor Laura Kelly, a fellow Democrat, told Coleman to step down, as did the Democratic House leader Tom Sawyer. And they're saying if he does not step down, that
will expel him.
They should take action to expel him.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
they're definitely pushing for this. And oh my God, 21 years old. How do you get elected? Isn't that like, don't you have to be a certain
This
age
is for the
to
Kansas
run?
House.
Right,
Probably
right.
21 years old.
That's insane to me. You should have to be at least 25 because at 21 you're still a kid, man.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
But typically those laws are written in such a way that you must be the required age on the day that you raise your little paw to get signed in.
It makes me wonder if he was running unopposed and that's how he got
very possibly
elected, because how do you admit that you, like,
I want to know about ban.
at 14 were involved in sexual blackmail?
I doubt he admitted to shit all about that when he
No.
was running. I don't think that was
He
on.
said it in one of his
Then
in one of his
gonna
running
Run
ads.
into a fucking problem
He
because
admitted it
now I'm getting
while
really
running.
close to saying.
and
the
even
peop-
apologized.
Now I'm getting really close to saying the people knew and they voted. They can elect the fucking devil if they want. I'm not sure about I'm totally down because again I want to know more about fucking banned because we didn't ban the kids, like the dude that stole the podium. I'm pretty sure he's not
He was
banned
trying
from the
to-
Capitol.
He was trying to enter the state's employment services building through something other than the front door, for purposes unknown.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
look. I fucking how did I get off a roof? God damn! What the fuck, Democrats in Kansas?
Don't commit crimes,
Expel him.
people. But yeah, get rid of this guy
Who
quick.
picked him?
Yeah.
How did you like? I don't feel
And
like
how
this
did you
guy
let
hit
him
the
run?
crazy.
yeah. Anyway,
damn it.
so yeah, Democrats screw up
That's just
Sometimes.
big time.
considering.
Do they have another button they could push since?
Well, and considering all this, I would really love to know what his policies are that make him Democratic, because he doesn't sound like a Democrat to me.
Man, give me the kid's fucking name again.
His name is Aaron Coleman.
Off to learn some bullshit, the internet.
All right.
Like,
so
comment,
while-
subscribe. And
Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe while he's looking that up.
send me shoeboxes.
All right.
full
What
of-
else are we
So
going to
let's
talk
talk
about?
about what's up with Lloyd Austin while he's doing that research.
Oh, yeah. So
We'll get
remember
back to it.
Oklahoma's governor and their idiot general who's in charge of their National Guard
Right.
decided that they weren't going to enforce the vaccine
Oh yeah,
requirement.
yeah. I remember
Okay.
that. That was crazy.
Right. Austin says the vaccine mandate is a lawful order that promotes health, safety, and readiness of our military personnel, regardless of duty status. The letter added that National Guard members who don't get vaccinated could be banned from participation in drills and training,
Good.
which means they're going to be banned from getting paid unless Oklahoma wants to pay them, which I think would be amusing.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
But in any case, I think it's obvious if you're banned from training and so forth, whatever time you're putting in doesn't count toward retirement. So
Right.
you know, you can stagger around, play soldier all you want.
Yeah, you're not really a soldier.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
way to go, Department of Defense.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's good things.
What else do you guys have?
Stuck in pub
Oh, I
after
love
storm
this.
in England.
Okay, so this is great. So the highest pub in England, okay, this in altitude, right? Yeah, 1,700 feet. Is it, wait a minute. That's not even a good foothill. But anyway, the 61 people who were there Friday night have been snowed in since then.
Oh, wow.
And so they thought they could probably leave today, right? And their plows operating and so forth. So anyway, well, England doesn't have a whole lot of snow plows because they don't get a whole lot of snow.
Interesting.
Again, that's why you fly through Chicago in the winter, because they have snow plows and they have seen snow. So anyhow, well, they've been having a wonderful time. You know, they've had movies and a quiz night. They've sung karaoke. An Oasis cover band got stranded with them, so they've performed.
Oh, that's amazing.
Sounds like they've had a 3-day party.
Yeah.
This guy sponsored a shit ton of bills that you'd have liked everything in it.
Oh.
And some of it's like weak sauce, but it's fucking Kansas Democrats. I mean, how lefty do you think this really is?
Yeah.
Fair.
Increase minimum wage to $17.25 over 10 years. Establish public school training instruction standards for identifying child
10 years is far too long.
For
Yeah,
identifying
again, weak
child
sauce,
sexual
but
abuse.
sauce.
Requiring lobbyists to wear body cameras while in the state house, making such records public records, and prohibiting any economic benefit or hospitality provided by a lobbyist to a legislator or candidate for the legislature. Decriminalizing possession of drugs, reducing criminal penalty for distributing manufacturing drugs, referring to those found in possession of a controlled substance to a drug abuse treatment, creating crime of failure to comply with drug abuse treatment.
So, sounds to me like he's done his little progressive thing and feels like he's entitled to do other things. So
No idea.
Well, no, because a lot of the stuff he's accused of was even before, or not even accused, but that he admitted to doing was,
yeah,
long before he ever got in.
Time for him to resign.
Yeah, no, I mean, yay, I'm glad that it doesn't sound like he's totally crazy, but it does sound like he's going through some personal shit that he needs to deal with.
Violently indifferent.
You can't do that
Yeah.
as a lawmaker.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So Republican, Democrat doesn't matter. The point of the matter is that he obviously cannot.
He is so
do his
radioactive, he has to leave.
Yes.
Because otherwise he is going to be put into every commercial run against every Democrat in Kansas. If not nationally, we'll see what this idiot does between now and whenever.
Right, right.
No, this is like when a Marine goes crazy and shoots a president or fucking shoots up a college campus or something. Like, it's going to come up. Like, well, the Marines taught him to kill people. I'm like, they taught him to a lot of things, probably.
Right.
He probably didn't go there, like, knowing how to sew buttons real good. Yeah.
No, but it shows that you got this crazy behavior on both sides of the aisle, because it's not limited to if you're a Republican or a Democrat. It's, if you're mentally unstable, you're mentally unstable.
Yeah. But I'm sorry, I expect better from Democrats than Republicans.
100%.
Like, a lot of this stuff
insane.
isn't like mental health issue. This is scumbaggery.
Right.
Revenge porn is throw fucking rocks at him. He's got to go.
Yeah.
This should have been a question before, except
No, the fact that they only gave him a written warning is offensive to me. That's when they should have gotten rid of him. I mean, revenge porn at 14. Like, where is this going to go in the future? Let's not put a rubber stamp on this guy. Okay, let's get rid of him just as quickly and quietly as fucking possible.
No,
but
we have
it's
enough
too late
problems
for that now.
We had enough problems with the lunatics hiding in our woodpile that. Right, the lady in, Kentucky, who wouldn't issue the marriage licenses because she's the county clerk or what, like, cool.
Yeah.
A fucking machine could do your job, shut up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a Democrat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Democrats don't have a litmus test. We fucking should on some stuff.
We should, yeah.
Like,
aggressively.
we should probably come up with a better definition of our party of, not the Republicans.
Do you believe it's okay to be involved in domestic abuse? Okay, you're not allowed to say you're a Democrat. Don't. Anyway. So I promised yesterday that I would finish the explanation of the article. So Politico, we were talking about Politico's Cynthia Lee's article on Ahmaud's, called Ahmaud's Killers Are Guilty, but Trayvon's shooter went free. Why? So this is the continuation of that. Just a brief, we left off discussing how black defendants tend to get the shit end of the stick with juries, while white people often get the benefit of the doubt. But that mentioning race as an issue in the courtroom can help juries make more fair decisions.
Yep.
Okay. So despite the huge outcry to have Zimmerman arrested and complaints about racial issues and criminal justice. There was very little focus on race at the trial. The judge even said she wanted to run a colorblind trial, ruling that terms profiling,
The white lady judge.
but not racial profiling could be used by prosecutors. So you could say he was profiling him, but you couldn't say he was racially profiling him. So this is her way of saying, the person who wrote the article, of explaining that, well, yeah, when you don't allow the racial demographic to come involved in this, which it aggressively is, this is why they go this way. So,
and this was a rhetorical mistake because we really did push in the 80s hard, right, the value of being colorblind.
mm-hmm.
And
it had the opposite effect that we thought it would.
not even that. And like I said, a rhetorical problem, because it then got in the way of having a discussion about systemic racism,
Right.
which we still needed to have.
Right.
True. So the prosecutor even went so far in closing arguments as to say, race, this case is not about race, it's about right and wrong. And after the trial, the lead prosecutor also said, this case has never been about race. In contrast, the Arbery case was all about race, before, during, and after.
Yeah.
The judge even noting the defense striking all but one black juror, and knowing he had no legal way to argue it, made sure the defense knew he saw what they were doing and didn't like it. He said, I can't stop you from doing this because they used non-racial reasons for removing these jurors. But he said, I see you,
Yep.
Watch yourselves. And the judge also told the defense to shove it when they tried to get black pastors to stop being allowed in the courtroom.
Oh, yeah,
It's not going to happen. Shut the fuck up. We're moving on with the trial.
Yeah.
The prosecutor in this case was forced to walk a tightrope of helping the 11 white jurors see the racial bias in this case without them feeling like she was calling them racist. And she did so brilliantly. In her opening statement, she said, "We are here because of assumptions and driveway decisions. All three of these defendants did everything they did based on assumptions." She didn't say racial, but no one could miss the suggestion that racial assumptions is what she was talking
These are
about.
fucking adults in Georgia. They know exactly.
She humanized Arbery, showing pictures of him and family, not hiding his blackness.
Yeah.
She also used the defendant's call to 911, where the response when the operator asked, "What's your emergency?" was, "There's a black man running down the street." Like, that doesn't sound like
my
an
God.
emergency to me.
It's not a bear.
Yeah.
It's a human.
It's a person.
No,
going
and
for-
that is the problem. Right, that lunatics here saw the thing and a chance to fucking go be dickish.
Yeah.
I've been chased by pickup trucks before. That's fucking scary. And
Not okay.
like, I was a white person being chased by white people, and it's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Don't do that, people. Just don't. In her closing arguments, the prosecutor said they made assumptions because Ahmaud Arbery was a black man jogging down the street, suggesting that the defendants, and she did that pause for effect, so they heard, they made assumptions because he was black and jogging down the street. So just beautifully done. Suggesting that the defendants made assumptions about Arbery, thinking he had committed a crime because of his race. The author concludes that there's no real way to know why Arbery jurors came to their conclusion. However, we can learn a lesson that to get more fair verdicts, it's important for the jury to know that race does matter in these types of situations.
Yeah.
So again,
And so
can't fix it.
had a
but-
receptive court and an excellent prosecutor. We'll see how often that happens.
Right. And again, I think she
I think it'll happen more often going forward, simply by the reality of the numbers. Millennials are going to make up a larger portion of juries because we're turning 40.
Yeah, I know. God, you're old.
I know, so old. 21 in squirrel years, though. No, 25 in squirrel years so I could rent a car.
Oh,
yeah. Fair. But yeah,
You can't
so
rent a car if you're under 25?
you cannot
You gotta
drive
be-
a rental
yeah.
vehicle under
I think
25.
you got to be like 23
Who
or
says
cost
that?
the fucking
in
people who rent the cars.
I know for a fact in New Hampshire, you cannot drive a rental car unless you are 25.
It's 20 something for sure. Last time I was like not.
I know for sure
Yeah.
because my mom had rented vehicles due to, accidents or whatever, and I was not allowed to drive them because I was not 25.
I know for a fact I rented cars.
Cool.
How
Back
many
in
years
the
ago?
30s.
It was a long time ago.
So
Okay,
doing
so-
Indiana Jones, and then it cut to a map, and like, yeah, no, I'm down, but you also used to have to walk out on like tarmacs to get on planes. Not sure it wasn't just a big fucking bird.
I rented a car.
I listened to the Flintstones
When I was in-
documentaries.
I rented a car when I was in basic training.
Yeah, in
Okay.
the 20s.
So I was 20.
Yeah.
I rented a car to go to Atlanta.
Cool.
3 of us.
Yeah. A, trips may be different, and B, back in the fucking
Yeah, I did have a
back
military
before
ID.
the world was fucking color.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, and this is specifically New Hampshire when I was a teenager.
Well, I know
Okay.
it didn't work in Boston when my travel plans broke that one time. Yeah, no.
Bizarre.
I have traveled with my first wife and not been able to rent a car. Is what I'm
Oh.
saying. Yeah. So no.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Or
a
you
lot
had to
of
pay some
places-
ridiculous. It's like the paying cash for hotels. Yeah, but they're gonna take like 4 times the cash. So
We may have had to put down a big deposit.
Yeah.
Okay. No big deal.
But anyway, so yep, so that's that. I do.
Well, and we'll see if it goes anywhere. I want to go back to colorblind. Colorblind worked for some things.
yeah,
Right? And there are ways of creating systems that are colorblind.
yeah,
But that ignores the fact that there is an historical impact of being black. And that, so, being entirely colorblind is not the full answer.
Yes.
Step in the right direction, but not the full answer.
as I said, a rhetorical mistake because everyone's like, "Cool, check, done." Again, it's like the America teaches history in a way that Martin Luther King was killed by the very last racist ever.
Yeah,
So,
that's
and then it was all good.
Have you seen any of Trump's rallies?
Yeah.
Fucking again, it's like the German history books,
Yeah.
right? Everything's going along fine. Then 30s, 40s, everything was fine. Everyone got along. Shut up. Moving on. And that's actually not true. The Germans are incredibly good at teaching. This is why it can't happen here. They actually talk about the Nazi school here in America that made 200 Nazis in 5 days on accident. Kids
yeah,
who didn't
that-
go to that school were showing up to that school.
yeah. That was that one teacher.
It was
you were
fucking
talking about,
crazy.
right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Fucking that teacher.
It's
was crazy.
Stanford prison experiment adjacent. Literally.
Get the story and we'll
Yeah.
tell it, because I hadn't heard that.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah,
So third wave
people look
fascism,
into
it's really
it. Look
interesting.
into it.
We'll tell you more about it in a bit.
Yeah, I will tell you that the last time I was in Germany, a friend of mine and I, German friend of mine and I, were having a conversation in a restaurant, and we were talking about the difficulties Germany has reacting to things that happen in the world, like Yugoslavia, and he said, we find it very difficult because we have such an awful history, right, in that part of the world. And I said, yeah, but you're also the predominant democracy in Europe. And the Reichstag has to get its head out of its ass and help. And so we're in a restaurant, people are talking normally. All of a sudden, it is dead silent, and everybody in the restaurant is looking at me.
Oh no.
And he leans over and he says, these days, we call it the Bundestag. I said, oh, shit. Anyway, but there was an instantaneous reaction, right? Which, again,
No,
with
well-
respect to their actions in Eastern Europe, I think part of that education was getting in the way of Germany doing what it needed to do and be a leader in Europe. And say, we're going to send some peacekeeping troops to that region, and they're going to behave themselves, because if they don't, we're going to hang them. Right.
They never have,
What?
ever.
What?
German soldiers turn every refugee camp they've ever touched into a brothel in about 4
I don't believe that's true.
minutes. That's
Tomorrow
the
night.
entire history
Tomorrow
of
night.
peacekeeping adventures is
Peacekeeping,
how can we
but
fuck
I don't
people
think it
abroad?
was German units.
It was.
Okay, so we'll double check that tomorrow,
Okay.
and we'll let y'all know. But no, this has been fun. Lots of good information. Sorry, another slow news day, but I think we covered the major stuff. We're holding off on the
With saying
Epstein's whatever wife's case
girlfriend.
because there's just not a lot of information right now.
Co-conspirator.
There we
Yes.
go. But there's not a lot of information because
Partner in crime.
the case is just kind of starting right now,
Yeah.
starting to get put together. So we'll see how it plays
see
out.
how it plays out.
Hey,
We'll
I'm
talk
really-
about it when we actually have something to discuss. But
And I'm more than willing to throw rocks at anyone whose name show up in this thing,
oh gosh, yeah,
including Beyonce and Jay-Z, because they don't hang out with kid fuckers.
yeah, no, especially so
Rock.
I'm looking forward to testimony from the guy who flew the plane because he's going to be talking, and
Oh,
that
cool.
should be intriguing to hear what comes out of his mouth because
Yeah.
he's already talking
Or-
about the fact that there was unidentified female passengers in the manifestation, the manifest for the people who were on certain flights.
You don't write GIMP in the log. Real people are gonna see this shit, Dave.
So yeah,
Oh, you don't know what a GIMP is.
I don't.
Things and stuff. So Carvel was saying that we shouldn't bother censoring Bobert, and he's not wrong. Hey, she doesn't care.
Yeah,
She'll use that
no.
as a badge of honor that
Of
she
course.
offended the things.
No, she's an airhead of no consequence whatsoever.
Now I'm showing Boomer Rex a GIMP suit.
Oh, okay.
These are
The
the black
fuck?
full body latex. It's
Oh,
don't
okay.
kink shame them.
I'm not kink shaming anyone, but like
Yeah,
that's hardcore.
each their own thing. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm just assuming that because no.
It'd make them hard to identify. What can I tell you?
Oh,
No, and I was
true.
gonna say slaves, but that's not a funny thing, and I was gonna laugh because I'm broken, but
Yeah, aggressively.
no, it's gonna be a horror show. All these things are hold on, what else? What are the news things that I discovered?
But yeah, no, I mean this whole situation is just the world today. I mean, I got nothing.
Yeah, Marilyn Manson got raided by the sheriff. We'll see what's going on with that. Nothing good's gonna end up being the answer.
Fair.
And yeah, no, fucking crazy. Is her name? I don't know. Are we supposed to say their names or not?
No.
Ah, well, one of the Foxies compared Fauci to fucking Mengele because, of course, again, we're talking about a news station whose collective knowledge about World War II would fit inside a Bazooka Joe wrapper.
Yeah.
I
So-
like that comparison.
Fucking
That makes me laugh.
no,
Written in 30-point type.
yeah. Wait till they get to the part about where we and the communists were friends. We were selling the communists guns.
All right, so we've got a lot of exciting things coming up for you over the next couple of days. So we love you all. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow
Like, comment,
on
subscribe.
All right, yeah.
BoomerRexTonight.